Welcome to the
Unpopular Opinions.
Unpopular opinions.
Have unpopular opinions.
Unpopular opinions.
Okay, so what's an unpopular opinion?
Unpopular opinions.
To utter such blasphemy. He's got the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to echo such blasphemous nonsense. Just blasphemy.
How's everybody doing today? I want to welcome you to the first ever Unpopular Podcast. This is a podcast where I, Jalen Hunter, will be talking about my unpopular opinions about all things sports. Basketball, football, baseball, hockey, cricket, whatever. It's my unpopular opinion and I'm going to give it to you. And how we're going to kick this off is I'm going to talk about Kevin Durant and why I think he is the second greatest small forward of all time. Yes, I said it. He is the second greatest small forward of all time. Now, yes, you're probably going to think you're stupid, Jay. You're too young to know the greatest of all time. Kevin Durant's a snake. He ruined his legacy when he went to Golden State, joining a 73-win team. Yeah, I don't care nothing about that. Kevin Durant is the second greatest small forward of all time. Now, all I ask is you hear me out. If you still disagree at the end of this, you can leave in the comments. I will read them. I will be objective, and we will talk about it. So, without further ado, here we go. Since 2007, when Kevin Durant got drafted, he has had one of the greatest careers a small forward has ever had. From leading a young OKC team, along with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, to the NBA Finals, where they ultimately lost to LeBron James, the Miami Heat, to coming back 2 years later in 2014 and winning the regular season MVP and having arguably one of the greatest seasons ever, to switching teams from OKC to Golden State, and ultimately winning 2 championships along with 2 Finals MVPs right now. Kevin Durant's greatness is unarguable. You cannot argue that he's not great. You can't argue that he's an all-time great player. But what you can do, and what I am going to do today, is argue that along, with the pantheon of great players, he is among second, or he is second amongst all of them. Now, of course, you don't have to ask. LeBron James is number one. What LeBron James has done, that's he's arguably the greatest player of all time. But we're not talking about LeBron now. We're talking about Kevin Durant. So what I did was, and I compared his career stats to other great small forwards that many people would say could be greatest of all, or second greatest of all time. So what I did was I put him against Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, Elgin Baylor, John Havlicek, and Dr. J. Now, yes, I know back in the day, with John Havlicek and Elgin Baylor, that there weren't as many teams there are today. The physicality with Larry Bird and Scottie and them was crazy back in the day. Dr. J played a lot of his career in the ABA, so his numbers are a little skewed, but that doesn't matter right now. Kevin Durant is the second greatest player, or second greatest small forward of all time. Now, when you put them up against each other, all of them, career stats wise, Kevin Durant averages 27.1 points a game. Again, that is 27.1 points a game. That is second amongst that list of players I just named to Elgin Baylor, which is only 27.4%. So he's 0.3 points behind Elgin Baylor, but still has a lot of basketball life in him. If you look at field goal percentage, Kevin Durant is third in 49% as a career. 3-point percentage, of course, he's first. Now, of course, back in the day with John Havlicek and Elgin Baylor, there wasn't a 3-point line. However, shooting a career 38% is damn near unheard of. His defensive rebounding, Kevin Durant is second at 6.4%. 6.4 rebounds a game. He's first in blocks at 1.1. I was surprised at that because, yes, he is tall, but I would think Scottie Pippen would have got that. Now, he is last in assists, but when you're a bona fide scorer like him, I don't see you passing the ball too much. But if you look at it, Kevin Durant is a 7-foot monster with point guard handles, point guard, one of the all-time greatest shooters of all time. Stay tuned in a couple of weeks because I'm gonna talk about that too. But he's one of the greatest shooters of all time. Everywhere he's gone, from Golden State to OKC to Seattle to Texas, he has made that team exponentially better. Kevin Durant, when he went to Golden State, he wasn't really known as a defensive stopper. He even said himself he never really cared about defense. But playing alongside, Draymond Green in that system has propelled his defensive game to levels that I didn't think he can go to. He didn't even think he could go to. Now, no, he's not a Kawhi Leonard. He's not a, Scottie Pippen when it comes to defense. But Kevin Durant has turned himself into a bona fide shot blocker, a bona fide rim protector, a bona fide player that you have to fear going into a game on the defensive side of the ball. When you put a big on him, he can just go right past because he has point guard speed and point guard handles. When you put a smaller guard on him, with his 7-foot range, he can shoot well over him easily. Kevin Durant is one of the most unstoppable machines in the NBA that the NBA has ever seen. Now, no, I know it sounds like I'm saying, Kevin Durant's the greatest, and Kevin Durant this and that. Kevin Durant has nothing to work on. Kevin Durant has a lot to work on. But that the beauty in all this is Kevin Durant is still young. Kevin Durant is only 30 years old? Yeah, Kevin Durant is 30 years old. And Kevin Durant still has time to develop or let his game develop. Let his game get better, which is scary for the league. Not to mention, this will be his third year with Golden State. Oh, I'm sorry, he's 29. Yeah, he is 29. This will be his third year with Golden State, and now with them adding one of the best centers in the league in DeMarcus Cousins, I can't see a path where they don't win their third straight NBA championship, which means he will have 3 NBA championships under his belt, which is the same amount as LeBron James, which is the same amount as the person that is leaps and bounds better than him, correct? That's all, Oh, and Steph Curry will have more championships than LeBron James, but that's neither here nor there. Kevin Durant's impact on the game is that he will go down as one of the most unstoppable players ever. If you look at players like Brandon Ingram, just coming out of this draft this year, Michael Porter Jr., players that are taller but have point guard skills, and they've been asked who are some of their influences, who are some of the players that they want to, shape their game like, and they mostly all say Kevin Durant. You see, Larry Bird was a great player. Larry Bird is one of the greatest shooters ever. Larry Bird was one of the greatest champions ever, even though I think he only won 3 rings, but he is one of the greatest players ever. Scottie Pippen, his contributions to Chicago winning those 6 rings is unparalleled. His defense and offense alongside Jordan, who is the GOAT, them two together is one of the most unstoppable duos ever. Elgin Baylor was one of the greatest Lakers ever. John Havlicek was one of the greatest Celtics ever. Dr. J was one of the greatest, ever. But if you look at it, Kevin Durant is in a class of his own. Kevin Durant can shoot as good, maybe even better than Larry Bird. While he's not the defensive stopper that Scottie Pippen was, Kevin Durant can make up for it tenfold on the offensive side. John Havlicek and Elgin Baylor played in a league where they played alongside players where it was arguable if they were even, top 5, along with, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robinson, Magic Johnson. It was Jerry West. Kevin Durant is great. And I know this sounds like I'm lushing over Kevin Durant, and I'm not. I'm just shining light on the fact that Kevin Durant, even now, at 29 years old, going into whatever, I think this is his, 12th, 13th season? He is already the second greatest small forward ever. Now, say he wins, 2, 3 more rings with Golden State. Say he leaves Golden State and wins another ring, with maybe at Washington, hint. Then we can start arguing if that goes from second greatest ever to first greatest ever. But, of course, we'll have to see what LeBron James does after that. But, we're not going to go that far right now. All I'm saying is Kevin Durant has done more than enough to consider himself the second greatest player of all time. And I am one of those people that also think, I'm sorry, not player, second greatest small forward of all time. And I am one of those people that think he is the second greatest small forward of all time. So there you have it. Man, there have been so many great small forwards to ever play in the NBA. You have old Carmelo Anthony with Denver Nuggets. You have T-Mac when he played for the Rockets. Hell, you have great players today. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Jimmy Butler. But if you ask me, amongst them all, Kevin Durant is the second greatest small forward of all time. Now, you've heard what I said. If you still don't agree, you can leave it in the comments. Be fair, be objective about it, and we'll talk about it. I have no problem talking to anybody about it. You might even be able to change my mind. You never know. But again, leave it in the comments. I want to thank you for tuning into the very first Unpopular Podcast. I had fun. I will be uploading weekly, so be on the lookout. I don't know I can't tell you what day. It might be Mondays, it might be Wednesdays. I don't know. But I will be uploading weekly. Again, I want to thank you for listening to the very first Unpopular Podcast, and just be on the lookout. Until next time, much love.